Good evening. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, a clock is ticking. And when that clock runs out at 5 p.m. Arizona time today, in just hours, an 84-year-old woman's life may hang in the balance. Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, missing for 9 days, and today is the deadline, $6 million. That's the ransom demand, payable in Bitcoin by 5 p.m. today, or else. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings have said publicly, "We will pay." But they need proof their mother is still alive. They need a way to communicate. And the kidnappers aren't responding tonight. I'm going to walk you through what's happening right now in Tucson, Arizona. The blood on the porch, the camera on the roof, the septic tank search, and why this case has the entire nation holding its breath. If you want coverage that treats this as more than a tabloid story, if you want the facts, the timeline, the human stakes, subscribe to Capital Prime. Hit that bell. We're covering every development. Let's begin. The deadline is today, February 9th, 5 p.m. Arizona time. Let me explain how we got here. Because there have been multiple ransom notes, multiple deadlines, and the confusion is part of what makes this so terrifying. The first ransom note was sent to TMZ, and at least 2 local Arizona news stations, Cold and Gun, on Monday, February 2nd, that note demanded $6 million in Bitcoin. It set a deadline, Thursday, February 5th, 5 p.m. It didn't specify a time zone, which created confusion. When Thursday's deadline passed with no contact, the note said there was a second deadline, Monday, February 9th. Then on Friday, February 6th, KLOLD received a second message. The station's news director, Jessica Bobula, said this second note was certainly not a ransom demand. It didn't ask for money. It contained sensitive information, details that suggested the sender knew things only the kidnapper would know. But it gave no new deadline.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
We will pay, those 3 words said on camera for the world to hear. But here's the problem. The Guthries don't have a way to communicate with the kidnappers. They've begged for direct contact. They've asked for proof of life, and they've gotten nothing back. So as of this moment, 9 a.m. on Sunday, February 9th, the family is waiting, hoping the kidnappers will make contact before the deadline expires this afternoon. Let me take you back to how this started, because the evidence at Nancy Guthrie's home tells a chilling story. Saturday night, January 31st, Nancy has dinner at her daughter Annie's house. Around 10 p.m., Annie drops her mother off at Nancy's home in the Catalina foothills area north of Tucson. Nancy goes inside, "Good night, Mom, see you tomorrow at church." Sunday morning, February 1st, Nancy doesn't show up at church. The family calls. No answer. They drive to her house. The door is locked. They look through the windows. Nancy's not there. They call 911. Pima County Sheriff's deputies arrive. They search the property, and that's when they find it. Blood on the front porch, dried droplets leading from the door. Investigators collect DNA samples. They test it. It's Nancy's blood. Sheriff Chris Nanos holds a press conference Monday, February 2nd. He doesn't mince words. "I believe she was abducted. Yes, she didn't walk from there. She didn't go willingly." Inside the house, they find more evidence. Nancy's medications, life-saving medications for her heart condition and high blood pressure, are still there, untouched. She needs them to survive. Every day without them puts her life at risk. Her Apple Watch stopped syncing on February 1st at 2:28 p.m. That means either the watch was removed, destroyed, or Nancy is somewhere without cell signal. A security camera at Nancy's home had been unplugged. Someone didn't want to be recorded. And then investigators find something else, a camera on the roof of Nancy's house, pointed at the property. It wasn't Nancy's camera. Someone else put it there. Who? Why? Was the kidnapper surveilling the house before the abduction? Was this planned? Sunday, February 8th. 8 days after Nancy disappeared, investigators returned to her property with a grim task. Video from CNN affiliate KNXV shows at least 2 investigators examining Nancy's septic tank. They're using a long stick, jabbing it into the tank repeatedly. They're shining flashlights inside. One investigator wears a sheriff's vest and holds a notebook. Let me be blunt about what this means. They're looking for a body. Septic tanks are one of the places investigators check in abduction cases when they fear the victim may have been killed and hidden on or near the property. The fact that they're searching there publicly with cameras rolling tells you how seriously they're considering every possibility. The Pima County Sheriff's Department wouldn't comment on the specifics of the search. Their statement, detectives and agents continue to conduct follow-up at multiple locations. But we saw it, the septic tank search, the investigators probing for remains. That's the reality 9 days into this case. Hope is fading. Every hour Nancy is without her medications increases the risk she won't survive. And investigators are preparing for the worst. President Donald Trump weighed in on this case. Publicly, on Truth Social, he posted, "I spoke with Savannah Guthrie and let her know that I am directing all federal law enforcement to be at the family's and local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately. We are deploying all resources to get her mother home safely. The prayers of our nation are with her and her family. God bless and protect Nancy." President Donald J. Trump. Now, there's history here. Savannah Guthrie and Donald Trump have had a contentious relationship for years. She's interviewed him, she's fact-checked him, she's challenged him on air. Trump has criticized her publicly, called her biased, said she's unfair to him. But in this moment, politics aside, personal animosity aside, Trump is directing federal resources to help find Nancy Guthrie. The FBI is already involved. Special Agent in Charge Heath Janke said at a Thursday press conference that they're taking all Ransom communications seriously. They're analyzing them for authenticity. They're treating every lead as credible until proven otherwise. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy's recovery or an arrest in her abduction. But here's the challenge. The ransom demands are in Bitcoin. That's untraceable. That's why kidnappers use it. You can't follow the money the way you can with traditional bank transfers. And without direct communication from the kidnappers, law enforcement can't negotiate. They can't set up a controlled exchange. They can't ensure Nancy's safety. The family is caught in an impossible position. They're willing to pay. They've said so publicly, but they have no way to pay because they can't reach the kidnappers. Sheriff Nanos has been clear about this. Nancy's health is deteriorating. She's 84 years old. She has a pacemaker. She has high blood pressure. She has heart issues. She requires daily medication that's still sitting in her house untouched. Nanos said at a press conference, her conditions, I would imagine, are worsening day by day. She requires medication, and I have no way of knowing whether they're getting that medication to her. Every day without treatment brings her closer to a medical crisis. Heart failure, stroke, death. The Guthrie siblings mentioned this in their first video plea on Wednesday. Savannah, flanked by Annie and Cameron, said, "Our mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive, and she needs it not to suffer." That's not hyperbole. That's medical fact. Without her medications, Nancy Guthrie is living on borrowed time. And the kidnappers know this. They know she needs medicine. They know time is running out, and they're using it as leverage 9 days in. And investigators still have no suspects, no persons of interest, no arrests. Sheriff Nanos said they have no credible information that this was a targeted abduction, meaning they don't think Nancy was specifically chosen because of who her daughter is. But that doesn't make sense, does it? If this was random, why the ransom note? Why demand $6 million? A number that suggests the kidnappers know Savannah Guthrie has money. Her estimated net worth is $40 million. If this was random, why the camera on the roof? That suggests surveillance, planning. Someone watching the house, learning the routines. Sheriff Nanos believes Nancy was taken possibly in the middle of the night. But Annie dropped her off at 10 p.m. Nancy's Apple Watch stopped syncing at 2:28 p.m. the next day. That's a 16-hour window. Did someone break in while she was sleeping? Was she overpowered in her own home? Did she try to fight back? Is that how the blood ended up on the porch? The unplugged security camera suggests the kidnapper knew it was there, knew how to disable it. That's not random. That's someone who cased the property. And here's another detail that's haunting. Investigators said one of the ransom notes mentioned Nancy's Apple Watch, and a specific feature of her property details only someone who had been inside the house or who knew Nancy personally would know. So who? A stranger? A neighbor? Someone in the family circle? Someone Nancy trusted enough to let inside? Investigators aren't saying, but they're looking at everyone. It's Sunday morning, February 9th. The deadline is this afternoon at 5 p.m. Arizona time, what happens at 5:01 p.m.? Nobody knows. The first ransom note said if the deadline wasn't met, there would be consequences. It contained a threat to Guthrie's life, according to CNN affiliate KGNN. But the second note, the one that didn't demand money, the one with sensitive information, didn't include a deadline. So which note is real? Are they both from the same person? Is one a hoax and the other legitimate? The FBI is analyzing all of it, but they haven't confirmed authenticity. Here's what we know for certain. The Guthrie family is ready to pay. They've said it publicly. They've made themselves vulnerable. They've opened themselves up to every scam artist and opportunist on the planet by announcing they'll pay $6 million in Bitcoin. But without direct contact, they can't. Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron, posted another video Saturday evening at 5 p.m. The first deadline that came and went with no contact. He said, "We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward." Still nothing. So what does the family do now? They wait, they hope, they pray. Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 9 days. Her blood was found on her front porch. Her medications are inside her house. Her pacemaker stopped syncing a week ago. Investigators searched her septic tank looking for remains. A ransom note demands $6 million. The deadline is today at 5 p.m. Arizona time. Savannah Guthrie and her family have said, "We will pay," but they can't reach the kidnappers. They have no way to communicate. They have no proof Nancy is still alive. And in a few hours, the deadline expires. Subscribe to Capital Prime, because when this deadline hits, when 5 p.m. comes and goes, we'll be here covering every development, every lead, every update. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Nancy is still alive? Do you think this ransom is real? Or is this something else entirely? This is Capital Prime. And right now, all we can do is wait.